Tension erupted across Tanzania this week after President Samia Suluhu Hassan was declared the winner of another term in office, triggering widespread protests reminiscent of the turmoil that once gripped Cameroon under Paul Biya. What began as a test of democracy quickly descended into chaos, leaving behind a trail of destruction, fear, and unanswered questions about the future of political freedom in one of East Africa's most stable nations. From hope to hostility. In Dar es Salaam, the beating heart of Tanzania, thousands of demonstrators filled the streets, chanting for electoral reform and denouncing what they called a stolen election. Their demands were clear: free and fair elections, political transparency, and the right to dissent. But by nightfall, those voices of defiance were met with the crack of gunfire, clouds of tear gas, and the eerie glow of burning vehicles lighting up the night sky. Police quickly imposed a dusk-to-dawn curfew, ordering residents to remain indoors after 6 p.m. The once bustling streets of Dar es Salaam fell silent, interrupted only by the wail of sirens and the echo of protest songs fading into the darkness. According to local reports, at least 2 people, a police officer and a civilian, lost their lives during the clashes. Many more were injured as hospitals filled with victims of beatings, tear gas, and stampedes. Authorities insisted the curfew was necessary to restore order. Yet for many Tanzanians, it was a symbol of a government increasingly unwilling to listen. The message was unmistakable: dissent would not be tolerated. A nation goes dark. As the chaos spread, another blow struck, one that silenced not just the streets, but the entire digital sphere. Internet watchdogs confirmed a nationwide blackout that cut off citizens from the rest of the world. Social media platforms went dark, messaging services failed, and news outlets struggled to reach audiences. The timing was no coincidence. The blackout came just as videos of burning buses, injured protesters, and police crackdowns began circulating online. For many, it was a deliberate attempt to suppress the information flow and control the narrative. But instead of calming tensions, the silence deepened public anger. When you shut down the internet, people don't stop talking, they just start shouting louder, said a university student in Dar es Salaam, speaking on condition of anonymity. We know what's happening, we just can't show it to the world. The protest that wouldn't die. Despite the curfew and the internet blackout, protests continued to spread. In towns such as Tuduma and Beya, demonstrators defied the government's orders, waving national flags and calling for justice. Reports emerged of hundreds gathering outside military barracks, urging soldiers to intervene and protect the people from government repression. Unverified social media posts suggested that some protesters were pleading with the army to take control, a desperate move that revealed just how deeply trust in civilian leadership had eroded. "We love our country," one protester told the BBC, "but we don't trust our leaders anymore. They have stopped listening." A promised reform, a fading dream. To understand the outrage sweeping Tanzania, one must look back to 2021, when President Samia Suluhu Hassan assumed office following the sudden death of Jan Magufuli. Her rise was historic, Tanzania's first female president, hailed as a symbol of hope and progress. She promised to reopen political space, revive dialogue with opposition parties, and restore freedom of expression after years of authoritarian rule. For a brief moment, Tanzanians believed change had finally come. Opposition leaders released from detention spoke of cautious optimism. Civil society groups reported a reduction in intimidation. The world praised Hassan as a moderate reformer who might steer Tanzania towards a new democratic chapter. But that optimism soon faded. Over time, critics began disappearing again, opposition rallies were banned, and journalists faced renewed harassment. The ruling Chama de Mapindu, or CCM party, unchallenged since independence, tightened its grip on power. Elections became predictable, with outcomes favoring the incumbent administration and little room for genuine competition. Human rights organizations sounded the alarm, accusing the government of systematically eroding freedoms. "What we're witnessing," said one activist from Amnesty International, "is a return to repression dressed up as reform. Laws that should protect citizens are instead being used to silence them." The opposition muzzled. The current unrest was ignited by the arrest of the main opposition leader on treason charges, an act widely condemned as politically motivated. His party, refusing to legitimize what they called a sham election, boycotted the polls entirely. Without real competition, the CCM's victory was all but guaranteed. "The ballot box has lost its meaning," said a political analyst based in Arusha. "When people believe their vote no longer counts, protest becomes their only language." Human rights groups describe the situation as a wave of terror, yet the government insists it is merely maintaining peace. For the ruling party, stability and control have always been paramount, even at the expense of political freedom. But peace built on fear, as many Tanzanians now argue, is not peace at all. It is submission. A mirror of Cameroon. Observers have been quick to draw parallels between Tanzania's unrest and the long-standing authoritarianism in Cameroon under President Paul Biya. In both countries,